I definitely think MMA changed me overall as a person.
Hey, welcome to our first and inaugural episode of the MMA Science Show. I'm here with my co-host, Dave Zitnick, former MMA fighter and renowned coach, and Anthony Ciampa, two-ton Tony, Rise of a Warrior heavyweight champion. And we are very fortunate here to be with Mike Lombardo, professional MMA fighter, also known as the Don. And wait till you hear his voice, man. It's the freaking coolest voice you've ever heard, man. So when
voice, wrong reason.
When he speaks, I feel like less of a man, man. Listen to him. Go ahead, speak, Mike.
They say that I'm like a Clint Eastwood, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I like it. I like it. His voice before that was feminine.
Okay, just do for a second. Just say, "Go ahead, make my day."
Go ahead, make my day.
It's perfect.
It is perfect, man. So welcome, brother. Welcome, man. Yeah, just for our viewers, can you just tell them a little bit about, your background, how you got into mixed martial arts, and maybe we can start talking about, your next upcoming fight.
Yeah, I was a college football player. I would come home during the summer times and just train at the Armory. Actually, Edson Barbosa was the head Muay Thai coach there at the time, and I was just thinking to myself, man, like, if football doesn't work out, this is what I want to do next. So after college was done, I came home and I started training in a gym called Valor. Dave was there. He just took me underneath his wing since pretty much day one. Well, actually, the first time we trained together, I had him in a nice Kimura, and he popped my arm like 3 times. He says it's not true, but I promise it's true. I promise it's true. And then ever since then, he's been my coach, man. He'd stay afterwards and coached me since my first amateur fight all the way to right now.
Wait. You had him in a Kimura, and he popped your arm 3 times?
Yeah, he reversed it to the arm bar. So he doesn't think it's happened, but I promise I don't forget that thing, It happened.
I'm not saying funny stuff didn't happen. I remember the first, you look at my phone, it says Big Mike, right? Because this guy comes into the gym and he's fresh out of football. He tried out like for the NFL team or something. So this guy's like 230 pounds. And, he does the ultimate mistake of walking into any gym and he only shows up for sparring. And he brings his friend with him to watch.
You need to learn. You had to be taught a lesson, Dave.
Maybe.
So
nobody likes that guy in the gym.
Nobody likes that guy, right? Well, I mean, you got to figure it out.
And he's a good-looking guy, so that makes it worse, man. You're like, fuck
yeah,
this guy.
right. And he walked. He's all jacked and ripped and like good-looking. He's got some dude with him,
Hey,
whatever, cheerleading. That's cool. And so I remember Edson and Marlon were there. And one of the other guys, I forget who else, Raphael, I think, was there. So they pull me in the back, and one of our buddies, RJ. And they're like, hey, this guy always comes and does all this stuff, and he only shows up on sparring day, and he thinks, so let's go out there and, like, give him what he asked for, So
The green light.
he had a rough day that day. But I didn't hurt his arm.
He popped it.
I didn't hurt his arm.
He popped it.
that hurts, man.
We'll put it this way. Since then, he's choked me out like 17 times, punched me in the face 1,000,000 times, kicked me, kneed me, whatever. He's got his payback 10 times over.
He hit him. I think I remember the first time you showed up at Wolfpack.
I'm not real worried about it.
The first time you showed up there, didn't you get you got your chin split, brother?
Yeah, and Quinn, when we used to go there, Quinn used to kill everybody that walked in that place. You walked in there, you could be polite. You could do all the things right, and that guy would just kick the shit out of you. And that wasn't one day. That was for months. That was forever. That was until he left.
I still can't straighten my arms out, man, or touch my shoulders. Bro.
No, I can't touch. I can't do either. I don't even try. But
No, honestly, though, like, there's nothing like MMA when it comes to being taught, like, humility and, being a college football player, you're definitely, I definitely was, like, a little bit cocky and, I definitely think MMA changed me overall as a person,
Dude, since the first time I met you, I want to say that was all fun and games, but you are a very humble person, so obviously you've evolved from there. I can't think of a bad second with you, man. You're always humble. You would know better than I am because you're his coach, But I've seen you've sparred with, Jordan when I was working with him, man. Just always polite, man. Willing to put in the work, just amazing, man. But one of the hardest workers I've ever seen.
No, yeah. Sometimes almost to a fault, what you got to tell him all the time is pull back on the reins. You got to slow down. You got to take a week off or cut back or train 1 time a day instead of 3 times a day. It's just he's in the gym so much. He's always trying. But that shows in his success. Yeah, I mean, he's done really well. Bellator, he's fought in Bellator, fought in M1, twice on the Contender, 2 losses.
You're currently, 11-2, right?
11-2, yes.
So coming up on this PFL fight, which is going to be great. And, all we got to do is just keep him healthy, really. That's the main thing. And by healthy, I mean he's always trying, just not overtraining, making sure that his nutrition is on point, that he's refueling his body, that he's staying hydrated. It's just the normal things because he's in the gym all the time. We train at my house sometimes. And
Well, let's be clear. Your house has a gym right
Right.
next to it. It's not your
yeah, right. So I have this exterior garage that's a gym, and it is hot in that thing. I mean, it's 95 degrees. It feels like
Dude, I get hot
100%
just
humidity.
watching it in the videos that you post. I see all the sweat all over the wall. I'm like, oh, I got to go turn the AC down, brother, just
No,
watching you.
It's terrible in there.
How hot is it? Have you taken the temperature? Because it's
I
90
don't
degrees
even-
in the boxing gym I train at, and there's no AC. So
I
test it.
don't
I
wanna
want to
know.
know. It makes me sick.
It's
We
hot
could
and
we
it's
could
humid.
try it. I don't know that I want to know, but there's something about that too that I think like it takes you mentally to a different place.
It does,
It's
man.
hard.
Yeah, it
It's
definitely makes you
hard to be
stronger.
in there, and you're tired and you're weak. And I mean, he'll do hours in there. 2 hours. I'll stop, man. I'm not. I'm not trying to do that, but he'll keep going. It's his endurance is there, his strength is there, the technique is there. It's good. This next fight in the PFL is that's going to be like an entry to the tournament, hopefully.
Yeah, so what they're signing me for is like a 1 fight. I think the main card is Rory McDonald versus the guy Ray Cooper. So I'm on the undercard, and it will be, if you win the fight, they put me in the tournament
The next
starting
season.
January. Yes,
Yeah.
next season.
The $1 million tournament for
Yes.
the next season, correct?
Yes.
Now, you used to fight at 185, and do you think the drop down to 170 has made a difference?
Oh my gosh! Listen, when I was fighting at 185, I was walking around pretty much the same size now, so like 186. Fight night, I would be like 186 pounds fighting 185, and I got away with it in like the pro scene until I got to the highest level, and then everybody could say whatever they want, but the size makes a difference when the guy comes in 215 and I'm coming in 185. It just makes a difference. So me fighting at 170, it's great for me. I feel way better. I'm stronger. I'm healthier. I feel like I have the advantage, definitely in the strength aspect over most guys, and I just feel good there.
Yeah, like I said, your last fight, being at 170 on the Contender Series, you look great. And like I said, looking at you right now, you look like you're in great shape and ready for this next fight.
Yeah, man, I'm ready to go. And that last fight in the Contender Series, was it was good to win on like a high level. And I had a game plan, and we wrestled a lot. But listen, I don't train to do like a barroom fight and like to have a bunch of drunk people scream and like have a good time. I'm there to win. I've been training to be a martial artist for almost 10 years now, and I'm training to win, and whatever path is the safest, I'm going to take, And I know like probably Dana White doesn't want to hear that, or the drunk guy at the sports bar doesn't want to hear that, but hey, man, I'm there to win.
A win's a win.
Without giving away your game plan, what do you see your next opponent bringing to the table?
Listen, he's 9-6, I think his record is. He's a tough guy. He's fought on the Contender Series. He's fought on PFL. He's fought at 185 and 170. What I see is like I see an MMA guy. I don't see like one specific thing. But hey, man, that's what we're MMA fighters, right? So I just gotta be prepared for everything, and I will be.
I would love to see you fight Rory McDonald, brother. You got the style to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Rory McDonald, that would be amazing. I mean, that guy's very good. But listen, I think I can beat anybody. Like on any night, I feel like I can beat anybody.
Well, watching the 170 tournament this season for the PFL, I think you match up greatly with anybody on that roster. So all you have to, once you get through this guy, it's going to be a bad day in the office for anybody next season.
Yeah, and there's tough guys. I train with a lot of the PFL guys over at American Top Team, so they're good. Listen, the top guys in PFL, top guys in UFC, top guys in Bellator are all the top guys in the world, So, hey, man, I'll be ready.
And how's that? Obviously, you said you train at American Top Team. It's one of the best gyms in the country, arguably the best gym, if not in the top 3, maybe just with some of the AKAs or TriStars or, some of the big names. You see tons of great guys from all around the world in there all the time. So you can learn a lot, not only from the coaches, but just from the people that are coming through the gym and really get a good perspective on where you stand in that worldwide totem pole, and I think you're in a good spot there.
Listen, the thing about training an American Top Team is you always get, if you just train with the same guys over and over, right? You get accustomed to them. I know when me and Dave train, maybe one of us gets in a bad position. I know he's not going to hurt me. He knows I'm not going to hurt him. Then you go down and train an American Top Team. You're training with some guy that's from Russia, from Brazil, from wherever he's from. There's people from all over the place, and they're not there to listen. They're
not there to make friends.
They're not there to be your friend. They're there to become financially stable, right? So it's literally a fight. So you get that fighter feeling, and I think that I think that's necessary.
Man, you just keyed into something that is extremely important, and that is when people get comfortable in their own gyms, and even though they're performing well, it's very hard to simulate the actual fight, right? All the conditions that come with it, the anxiety, but when you are going to different gyms or when you're being exposed to, just to your point, to all these different fighters, it produces that anxiety. So you're getting repetition in that anxiety. So when the fight night comes, you've now been exposed to that. People that do not expose themselves to that, they end up getting an adrenaline dump. I'm sure maybe earlier in your career you've had that. And for anybody that doesn't know about an adrenaline dump, it's horrible. You get an adrenaline dump, you feel weak. Have you ever had one?
Definitely.
Explain what it feels like for you, man.
Listen, you could be in the best shape in the world, right? Go run 10 miles, bench, squat, whatever, right? And then you start fighting, and only people that have been fought understand this. And I'm not talking about a street fight where you sucker punch some guy and you guys fought for 5 seconds. I'm talking about fighting someone else that kind of knows how to fight back, right? So you get off on him, bop, 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 and you hit him hard, and then boom, he just nothing comes back, and now that's a fight, right? Not over in 10 seconds. I'm talking about we're giving and taking, and when an adrenaline dump happens, it's just everything's shot, man. Your legs, you just can't do stuff. It's crazy. And that's where I think mental toughness and that's where I think whether you're a fighter or not, and I think you have to get tested. No one can tell you, I know that guy's a fighter. I think you have to go through the test, and if you pass it, then hey, you can be a fighter.
Oh, and you're being tested in repetition at the gym. That's the beauty of having the different sparring partners and all these hungry guys with steel sharpens steel.
Yeah, I agree. We've talked about that a lot in the past about, steel sharpens steel, yes, but training in different levels and being able to get off and practice your stuff and not becoming a punching bag. But dealing with that anxiety is something that you have to be able to handle, and you can learn how to do it, and you can learn how to control it so that adrenaline dump, hopefully as your career goes on, it goes from here to here to here to, I don't want to say nothing, because I think if you don't have the butterflies, if you don't have a little bit of that adrenaline dump, then you don't care enough. And, maybe that starts to be a symbol of a time when you shouldn't be there anymore,
Well, some anxiety is good for performance. Adrenaline dump is too much, but some anxiety really enhances performance. So to your point, you want that, man. It gets you ready for fight or flight, and when you're a fighter, you fight.
Sure. Maybe not the adrenaline dump, but you know what
anxiety,
I want
yeah.
Those butterflies.
Sure.
I want that fear. That fear is keeping my eyes open. It's making me move faster. It's making me react better. I'm stronger. I want that, but getting that feeling over and over and over again so that you can lower that level of adrenaline dump and then learn how to control the anxiety that's coming, whether you like it or not, you know?
Yeah, it's just all about being more comfortable. And then another thing I want to touch on is being down at ATT. You know, you spoke about training with the Russians, training with the Brazilians, so you're getting a good glimpse of a little bit of everything, different styles, different training partners. So, you know, you got the Russians that have been taking over the scene lately, and then it's just been great.
Yeah, man, listen, I can't really think of one, like, soft Russian, you know? Like, if you see, like, Russians walk into the gym, you already know they can wrestle. And they're all tough. But listen, everybody trains on American Top Team, like Russian, American, Brazilian. Like, if you're at American Top Team Coconut Creek right now, you're probably at minimal tough, you know? The gym is loaded with talent, and that's it, man. You get better every single day. And like you said before, actually, I think there's more benefit than even the coaches. There's great coaches there, but I think the most benefits is to training partners. You learn more in a session, like training with different guys, different bodies. You pick up a different move from everybody. Even if you don't master that move, you might learn like how to defend, or you've seen it before, you know? So it's not like something you've never seen.
You're not going to be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing about fights, right? Like, you always got to expect the unexpected, but hopefully you've seen most of it being there.
I want to circle back to that second Contender Series fight in regards to the Russians. A lot of these guys fight very similar to the way you fought in that second fight, right? And then he took some heat from it, from Dana White and from some of the people on the internet, because he did fight a smart fight. That guy was a very awkward, long, lefty, karate guy. You just don't see those guys. You can't replace that guy in the gym. But we have other guys that are doing the same thing. A lot of these Russians, so they fight the same way, whether they're in the UFC, Bellator, or PFL. They're all over the place. They do the same thing, and they're commended for it. They're commended for their control and their ability to hold somebody down and take them down and not allow the guy to get up and be able to get off ground and pound. I see it all the time, and I go, man, this is exactly what he did. Why does it matter? I mean, I think that the Contender is kind of a double-edged sword there, but
Yeah, the show premise, they're setting you up to either get a knockout or some crazy submission, or just have a straight-up 3-round war where somebody's cut and bleeding and ugly, and that's just what they want. That's what they want.
Yeah, but you give them that and you lose, and they say, hey, sorry, you lost. Go back out and try again. You know, so that's not necessarily great either.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. And, like, you know, I was talking to Muhammad Lowell down at ATT, and he told me, you know, like, in Russia and those countries, like, they respect the grappling, they respect the wrestling. In America, you really don't, because really, it wasn't around. Boxing was the only thing that was big in America for the longest, right? So they want to see stand-up wars. When they see the wrestling, especially, or the jiu-jitsu, and they don't understand it, then it's boring. And, I mean, from me looking into, like, an uneducated eye, I kind of understand, like, you want to see just, like, a crazy back-and-forth brawl, you know, but like we said, like, as a martial artist, that's not what we train to do.
Well, it's really a fine line, because it's a sport, and the sport is entertainment, but you still want to win. You want to win in the way that's the most entertaining. You know, you certainly don't want to be labeled, you know, you don't want to be like Ben Askren, you know, like, oh God, man, this guy's going to lay me. But there's that risk versus reward piece of it, and, you know, man, it's got to be calculated, you know. Like, for that fight with the Contender, had you fought a different way, you might have lost the fight, you know, even though it was exciting, and now you don't get that W, you know, and then that becomes a problem.
I think I've been trying to tell the guys that I work with all this Logan Paul stuff going on, which, to be honest with you, I don't even like talking about it. I don't even like bringing it up. It drives me nuts. But I think that's the guy's goal. And I think he wants people to not like him or like him. They just want. Of course, he just wants people to look at him.
Yeah, man. So, bad guy or good guy? It's straight wrestling stuff.
Everybody hated Tito Ortiz.
It is. It's like pro wrestling. Well, I can't stand the guy. I would love to meet him in person. Maybe he's a nice guy. I have no idea. But every time I see him on TV, I just want to punch him in his face. And I don't think there's much else that he could do about it unless I met him and realized it's all a character. But he's selling himself so good. It's great entertainment. And now this fight's coming up with Tyron Woodley, where I want to watch it just because I hope Tyron Woodley beats him up.
If you look back at the Colby Covington character, you know, before the fight in Brazil, he was one fight away from being cut from the UFC. So what did he do? He created the heel character. And he called the Brazilians animals, filthy animals, and then he skyrocketed to a title shot.
Yeah. So I think there is something to take away from those guys. And I will say this. I don't even know the difference between the Jake and the Logan Paul, which I don't know which one's which.
Logan fought Mayweather. Jake is the more outspoken one. Logan is...
who's the one that fought Ben Askren?
That's Jake.
So he's the one that's always like...
He's got the bigger mouth,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I do like about what that guy is doing is that he's very vocal about trying to get better fighter pay, better benefits for fighters. And I think that's great. And maybe one day he'll be able to provide a platform for fighters where he's going to pay him a ton of money after he goes through whatever it is that he's going through in his fight experience. But I think every fighter can take a page out of that Colby Covington book, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of these guys, and or really the all-time greatest, Conor McGregor. You got to take a page from that book a little bit, you know?
You definitely do. I mean, that's what Muhammad Ali did.
Yeah.
You know, they called him the mouth of the South or something. Yeah, the mouth of the South. And
he'd pick the round.
Yeah, he picked around. People, you know, he wouldn't stop talking. Remember, you know, the famous picture of him, like, you know, having his mouth open and stuff like that. But it's hard because, like, you know, I think, what's the guy's name? The wrestler, you know, I can't remember people's names, man. He's got his own Bad Boy show now or something like that.
Chael Sonnen,
American
Gangster.
Yeah, he was another one that created a character, you know. So it's a fine line because, like, you want to be yourself, but you want to, because you just want to fight. You know, you want to get in there and fight. But, like, when that mic gets put in front of your face, you know, the people who are broadcasting, they want sound bites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to put seats. So
and you got the voice for it. You got to start putting hits out on these guys.
Listen, I understand about that. You know, everybody's always like, you know, you need to sell, but then you have to be a character. Then you look at guys like Dustin Poirier and stuff who isn't a character, right? Who stayed true to himself since day one.
Yeah.
And look at him now. And yeah, he had to fight like a Conor McGregor, a big mouth guy. But there's always going to be those guys, right? I just think for me, where I'm at in my career, especially now with the PFL format, I don't really have to go out there and like make a big character. There's nothing for PFL. It's just how you fight.
But you can still be you, but just magnify it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, hey, just like Dustin said, I'm going to be me. I'm going in there to do this stuff, and like you respected him more. Like he grew in character because of that.
Yeah, I mean that's a great example of what you're saying. You see guys like McGregor whose careers skyrocket in a matter of 4 or 5 years, and they become these gigantic, you know, personalities. Where Poirier spent years and years and years on the steady build-up.
Or Masvidal, same thing.
Or Masvidal. And man, Masvidal's a character though. He's always been a character. He's very humble guy. And
he didn't make anything up.
Right. He did. He's a character, but that's his real character. And I think we saw that when he was in the backstage with Leon Edwards and he was staring him down. Man, that's real life. You know, that's real life. You stare that guy down, he's going to punch you in the face. He didn't make that up, which is cool. And Poirier doesn't make up his stuff. What he did with the kid at the McGregor fight, and he brought the kid to the fight.
He's such a class act, man.
It was unbelievable. If you watch it on the Embedded, it was so cool what that guy was doing. So he's taking his platform in a different direction, but that character, or it's not a character, it's him, it's real life. But it makes people like him. It made me. I love that guy. I liked him to begin with. I got a man crush on Dustin Poirier. If you're out there, bro. But that made me like him more. That thing he did with the kid, and he brought him to the fights, and then after the fight, he said, "Man, I could stop this anytime. I'm not even a fighter. This kid has to fight." It made me want to cry, and it's such a life-changing event for that kid and his family. That's really cool stuff. But that was him, you know, and when he had the opportunity, he said what he wanted to say, and I think that's something all fighters can take away. It doesn't necessarily have to be Jake Paul, Logan Paul screaming crazy stuff, or Colby Covington saying filthy animals about somebody. It could be something else. But I think when it comes from the heart and people see it, they like it.
Right. It's not all about just building a character. It's about building a brand. You know, Poyer's not building a carrier. He's building his brand. He's got the Good Fight Foundation and everything like that. So everything he does reflects on his brand, whether it's in the cage or outside of the cage. So like I said, you don't have to become the heel. You don't have to make this big character. Just be you. But like Paulie said, exemplify it.
Right. I agree.
I would love to see Mike walk out to the cage with like a whole Goodfellas cast. That'd be so freaking cool, man.
We got the Godfather theme song is the walkout.
Yeah,
so we gotta
man.
Start there.
Everybody's got like suits on and stuff like that, man. The hats on.
That'd be
or whatever.
hilarious if you could like snap the suit off of him, you know, like
Yeah,
a,
like
like
the
a jump,
Sopranos.
like a jumpsuit in basketball. You know, you could snap it
Dude,
off.
that
and
would
it's
get freaking like worldwide attention, man. That's the kind of thing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, if we fight in that PFL tournament, I think it's up in Madison Square Garden. So I mean, we'll definitely have a lot of paisanos up there.
Hey.
Look at the picture we got here in the studio. We got who even knows where that picture is from? I'd love to know if you know. If you don't know,
Wait, there's like 10 pictures over there, bro.
look at that picture right there in the corner. See that picture right there?
Oh, this one right here?
See with the dogs?
Oh, the dogs. Dude, I'm 51, man. I can't see that far.
One dog faces one way, the other dog faces the other way. It's
What a-
nice. Looks like somebody we know.
Oh, you gotta help me out, man.
Oh, come on, guys. It's like the most famous. Oh, I got to bring my boy Tommy in on this one back here. This is like the most famous Goodfellas scene ever. After the guys go and they kill the dude in the bar. Tommy kills the dude in the bar, and they got him in the trunk. Billy Bats, and he's still alive. And they're eating dinner with his mom, and his mom pulls out that painting, and
Yeah,
they go,
yeah, I remember.
"Hey, it looks like somebody we know." And they got Billy Bats in the trunk. That's the painting that she made. I got one up in my gym in my house.
Yeah, you can wear one of those shirts, man.
Yeah, I'll do that.
How do you not know that, man?
I'm not a big Goodfellas guy. I'm more of a Godfather guy.
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Different eras. Different eras.
So he wasn't alive for either of them. So what does it matter? Goodfellas? Come on.
Where do you
greatest movies.
where do you see yourself in about 2 years?
In about 2 years, I don't know. I'm really just this next year. I think is really important for me. I think winning this fight, and then getting into the tournament and staying active, man. Because like I haven't been able to fight since the Contender fight because we were waiting for the short notice with the UFC. They kept like basically I was getting like the feedback of like, you know, short notice you're gonna get it. Short notice you're gonna get it. Just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. So then I finally signed with a management group, and basically the UFC was coming along with, get one or two more in the regional scene, and then Bellator offered and PFL offered, and PFL was just the route to go for me. So getting this win next month in August, and then winning the tournament next year. So I'm just really looking forward to the next 18 months.
Yeah, I feel like the PFL setup, I mean, it's almost guaranteed if you get into the season, you're going to have this amount of fights. You win that fight, you're going to get another fight. You're going to get another fight. You don't have to worry about sitting around waiting for that next fight.
Right, and I mean, that basically just kept me pretty much in camp all year round, which isn't, I've definitely got way better, but it's not the most healthy way to live. You can't train like a lunatic 365 days a year and be your healthiest.
You gotta be smart about it, man, for sure. That's smart. Yep.
Well, that's like what I was saying earlier about trying to get him to pull back the reins sometimes. But like you said with his PFL, it'll be nice that he'll know in the tournament, hey, this fight is on this day, this fight is on this day, this fight is on this day. You can plan your entire year almost, or at least however long it takes him, 9 or 10 months to go through that tournament. And that'll be great to schedule training, schedule time off, and I think that'll be in his benefit big time.
Yeah, and it's definitely not bad to schedule cashing $1 million check at the end.
Yeah, that would be nice, right?
That doesn't
That'd be
suck
really
either.
Is that on the calendar? You got that tied in already?
Yeah, listen, I mean, that's definitely the two goals for me as a martial artist is to be the best possible I can be and to become financially stable. So, I mean, right now I have the opportunity to do both, so go out there and make this thing happen.
Yeah, you get to add a belt to the case, and you get a big $1 million check at the end.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen with him in this next year is something that we've talked about is a big turning point with the fighters where it's very hard in the beginning fighters don't make a lot of money, especially at the lower levels. They don't make a lot of money. Everybody needs to understand that. Just because your buddy says he's an MMA fighter or he even won a belt in some regional show or whatever, that guy is probably not rich. He's probably struggling. He probably has multiple jobs. He may be working 15 hours a day and training at night and then having a fight on the weekend. Is very difficult. So we've talked about a big turning point in a fighter's life is when he signs that contract that he can support himself from one fight to the next fight without having to do all these other odd jobs or coach at a gym or whatever. And you could just focus on your training. And I think this PFL tournament for him is going to be a great turning point. And I think that will help him in terms of scheduling the training, and it's a big deal. That's a hard corner to turn.
Mike, and I think we're kind of coming down to the end of this. I'm wondering if you could go back to your younger self. What would you tell yourself?
Like what
in
age?
terms of martial art, 5-6 years ago?
5-6 years ago. I don't know, man. I probably I always knew it was gonna be a tough path, but I would just tell myself, just keep growing every day, keep trying to get 1% better every day, because like it really is. There's really nothing like it. What were you saying?
No, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I would just tell myself, just keep improving every day. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Sometimes, like me personally, I'll be thinking like, I gotta do this, I gotta. I put like 100 million things, but sometimes just slow it down a little bit and enjoy the process.
Well, how do you sustain that level? Because I've seen you train, and I can imagine exactly what you're saying, Dave, about that. You're one of the guys that you have to pull back, like a coach's dream, that have to pull back on somebody's training. What keeps you driven? Because look, this is one of the secrets in life, right? Like having that why, that reason, that thing that's going to pull you to it. So you go through all that tough stuff every day, all the pain, not getting to eat that friggin' cupcake, you know what I mean? Whatever it is that you have to do to avoid, because like, what do you tell yourself every day? Like what drives you?
There's a million different things that drive me, like I want to, but at the end of the day, I think the one thing that drives me the most, more than anything, is just wanting to be the best I can be, because even when you're in the cage and you're fighting for because I fought some fights like Contender or whatever, like for big opportunities or like bigger paychecks, this or that. At the end of the day, all that matters is like having that drive to win and to be the best. And there's a lot of different reasons. Like some days I might wake up and I'm like, man, I got to work hard today because of I want to make money. I got to work hard today because of I want to do it for my family, everything that they've sacrificed for me. But at the end of the day, like when you're in the cage, the one thing that really pushes me is to just be the best, because of I have to go home and look myself in the mirror, and I know if I didn't do the best I can do,
Yeah, you're definitely like what we call an MMA purist. You're doing it to be the best.
Yeah. There's always little extra benefits, like making my family happy, that I love. I mean, there's different things that's great that come along with it, but I think the most important thing is to be the best I can be.
The drive is certainly there. We've seen him way early on in fights that I wish were fights that he had years later that were brutal fights. I'm probably going to screw up one of the guys' names, the guy from Tampa, from Gracie, Tampa.
John Garcia.
Oh my God. That was what, your third fight, second fight? Unbelievable fight, hell of a fight, comes down to a decision, he wins. This guy walks in the cage. He looks like he was like 300 pounds, man, and like just jacked and ripped and like, holy shit, man, what are we going to do here? And what a hell of a fight that guy put on. And that's a great gym. They produce a ton of great guys. They're still producing great guys. And that was one of the fights where when it was over, it was like, all right, he could do it. Like, he's not scared. He fought, man, like big time. Like he had to dig deep, and it was early. It was a fight that you don't want to see the guy have on his third fight. That was a 10th fight. You don't want to make that guy have to pass that test at his third fight, but he did. Another one was the one down in the Bellator that was down here in Miami. And I don't know if you're not familiar with Miami in the summer, it was like August or July. It was right around this time of year. It's like 100 degrees down here. It's 100% humidity. It is brutal. We're out there warming up, and I remember him asking me, he goes, man, it's really hot out. And I go, nah, it's not that bad. It's like a nice little breeze today. There's not a cloud in the sky. I mean, it was the bluest sky, not a cloud. And I walked out to the cage prior to the fight, and I touched the canvas. You could have fried eggs on that thing. It was unbelievable. How they didn't have burns on their feet or like elbows and knees and
this
stuff.
was the Bellator that they did outside, right?
Yes. Outside,
Yeah, they
it
ended up
was at
having
the,
blisters all over their feet. A lot of guys warming
Yeah.
up under tarps.
It was out down at the NASCAR place in South Miami. That was brutal, man. And the guy he fought there has had a great success after the fact. And he was gigantic, man. He was gigantic. That was at 185. That guy was probably 210, 215. His legs and his ass looked like a horse. I mean, he was like a Clydesdale. And they're on this brutally hot mat. Sun is beating down, not a cloud in the sky. It was hard to sit in the corner, you know? And these guys are out there fighting. I was like, oh, my God, man.
And I asked him, I was like, man, it's when I asked him, I was like, it's hot out here today, bro, right? And he's like, no, it's kind of cool. I started thinking to myself, like, maybe it's just like pre-fight stuff, you know? Like, maybe it is kind of cool out. So, listen, having Dave, everybody has different coaches, you know? Especially American Top Team, you go through a million coaches, but I've had him since, like I said, before I even had my first fight, he's been my coach. And he's more than my coach, you know, he's like family to me, and I know he's there always for my best interest. So him being in my corner is just like a necessity to me. Like like our minds I pretty much know what he kind of wants. And sometimes I don't always listen, you know, he gets mad because like, even in the contender fight, I was doing some things that were wrong because I heard him saying it. Like our minds are working in the same, like I know what he wants me to do. And just having him there is such a benefit for me.
Yeah, but some of that stuff is, you know, learning from Paul about coaching and how to be a better coach and being a coach is like being a fighter. You got to learn how to do it, man. It's something that's developed, and there are ways to develop it, and he's the master of it. I've tried to learn as much as I can about it because at the end of the day, you are still the fighter in the ring, you know? So if in between the rounds I say, hey, man, you're not sticking to the game plan, and you say, well, I've made a change because I feel better in these positions and I think I see something, then I'm going to agree. Or maybe I don't, you know, but at least we have that communication where we know. And it's not in martial arts, in a fist fight, there is no one direction. You know, everything is fluid. It's literally changing second to second, minute to minute. So when we have that short meeting in between rounds, you know, a lot of stuff is going on there, and then we may have to change game plans completely or, you know, whatever the case is. So that's something that the fighter's learning how to fight and learning how to manage a fight, and the coaches are learning how to be a coach and manage being a coach and understanding what's going on in there, you know, which is very difficult.
How coachable do you think you are? Like, there's like a continuum of like coachability, you know?
Honestly, I think I'm super coachable. I'm always open to like try something new and listen, and like I don't ever think that I know everything at all. I don't think that. I think I can learn something from a guy that has less fights than me or not nearly as good as me. He might have one move that I could pick up from him, you know? So as far as being coachable, I'm all ears. I'm always open to at least like giving it a try, you know?
What helps you the most? Like when people coach you, what's the most helpful to you? And like, if you could tell your coaches one thing, when I'm sitting right next to you right now, like, you know, what is like, just this doesn't work for me? Because I used to have a coach come over and like scream at me in the corner. I'm like, that shit does not work for me, man. I need you to calm me down. I shouldn't be calming you down, you know. But for some people, that works for you know what I mean? They need you to rev them up. I didn't need that. I need calm. Like, what do you love coaches do and what don't you like?
I don't need anybody to rev me up, and I don't really need anybody to keep me super calm. Like, I feel like I'm overall a pretty level-headed person, but is what I need in my corner is someone just give me basic instructions. Maybe like we got in just double jab, maybe something like that, or like we're having hard combinations back and forth. And in a fight, sometimes you don't really know, like, bro, you're winning those combinations because we're both getting hit, and I don't know, you don't know. And then I might go back to my corner, my coach be like, listen, keep boxing them up because you're winning the combinations. Don't change it up. You're getting hit, but you're getting 4 off to his 2. You know?
Yeah, it's definitely hard to see the outside of the fight when you're in the fight. So you get a different vantage point from your coach in the corner.
100%.
Yeah, I tell a lot of these guys, like you watch George St. Pierre, he bring 5 guys to the corner. You know why? He knows more about mixed martial arts than almost everybody on the planet, but he brings 5 guys with him in the corner. He wants their opinion. He respects their opinion. They're giving him that outside view. And, yeah, there are some guys where you got to get in there and kind of slap him in the face and say, hey, man, you got to get it together, or you got to calm down. Or he's not that guy. He's exactly what he said, technical stuff. If I'm in the corner, all I'm trying to remind him of is the game plan and what we talked about leading up to the fight and the things that may be missing from the game plan that he's just not doing yet. You know, maybe it's the first round. Okay, man, hey, the first round's over. We established the jab. That's what we wanted to do. Now we want to build up to XYZ, whatever it is that we're conducting in the game plan. And his condition is good enough so he's not focusing on his breathing the whole time and, oh my God, what did you say? His condition is there. He makes eye contact. Yeah, you're right. Okay, right. Just 1, 2, maybe 3 things. Let's keep building just like we built in training.
Mike, I think since you hit 170, I think the sky's the limit for you. I remember when you were at 185, I'm like, I think you might want to drop down a little bit, but I wasn't your coach.
I remember you telling me.
Yeah, but that's okay, man. You got to I knew you have to experience the natural consequence, but I think you're going to be a champion, man. You got perfect people around you. You know, you got the right mentality, man. And I think it's going to happen, man. I think it's been great to, have you on the show. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any, sponsors or anything?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to my sponsor, Ideal Nutrition. It's a meal prep company down here in South Florida. It's it's keeping me on weight, keeping me in shape.
We'll put a link to their website so that should just be able to click and go right to their website, read about them.
Cool, awesome.
So, Mike, you're fighting on the PFL coming up. Tell the people where they can follow you on social media for more information.
I'm fighting on the PFL August 13th at the Hard Rock Casino here in Florida. It's also going to be aired live on ESPN Plus and ESPN2. You can follow me on Instagram, MVLombardo1, and follow my career.
I was just going to say, we'll link all that stuff up so everybody could find that in the description. It should be.
Follow the Don.
Thanks, brother. Been great having you on, man.
guys.
Thank you, man.
Also, quick thank you to LifeQuest Sciences and Tommy Glover back there hanging out with us for letting us use the studio here.
Hey, Tommy.
He got free beers. He's happy.